Some people just can't switch it off. It's a constant hum in the background, an intrusive nagging that's hard to ignore.
I'm like a kid in a candy shop. Okay.
Always scanning for the next snack, consumed by the next meal.
I think I'm just gonna grab the potato one. Okay, so this is what I'm calling the Last Supper. My whole life my weight has yo-yoed, and the idea of having it stabilised and not being something I have to worry about and waste brain power on really appeals. It's actually really exciting, but obviously a bit nerve-wracking, and I think mostly I just don't really believe it's going to work for me because I don't necessarily eat when I'm hungry, I just eat because I really love food, obviously.
But it's a love-hate relationship, because I am one of the nearly 1.5 million New Zealanders who fit within the uncomfortable, unhealthy category of obesity, and I want to do something about it.
Do you have food noise?
I always want a savoury treat.
Yeah.
At this clinic, there's wraparound support. Miriam is a dietitian.
Well, I think Wegovy gives you the space to make really healthy food choices and to change your habits.
Wegovy acts as a circuit breaker. By mimicking a hormone we have in our gut, it makes you feel full.
You'll eat your 3 meals a day, and between meals you're just not hungry, and it won't cross your mind.
Hi, knock.
Next door, I find Dr. Lara Courtney, a weight loss specialist and my soon-to-be Wegovy dealer. She explains why my weight has always fluctuated.
And our body's actually really good at what we call protecting our set weight, and our set weight is the heaviest weight we've ever been. No matter how you lose weight, including these medications, your body is going to try drag the weight back up to that set weight.
No prescription is handed over without a warning of side effects, and Wegovy is no exception. There's a risk of pancreatitis, while nausea and constipation are common.
The reward is greater than the risk.
Totally, and so like the pancreatitis risk is super low.
Still, I was probably slightly too excited when a couple of hours later,
I've got the goods.
expensive things do have a habit of hiding in small boxes, and this one, housing a month's worth of Wegovy and some very scary needles, is no exception.
It's all feeling very real. I've got to tear this off. Whoa, needle. Okay. So this is $459.99. It's a lot of money to be about to inject into my body.
The dosage is reviewed monthly, starting at 0.25 milligrams.
We are good to go. We are all clear for liftoff. Oh my gosh, that is so stressful.
Beginner's hysteria, also a common side effect, I'm told.
Okay, ready? Steady. Oh, sorry for the swearing. Okay, now I hold it down. Oh, okay. It was unbelievably easy. Done. Now I guess we wait for the magic to happen. So it's just taken me an hour to eat a bowl of soup that I usually would demolish in probably 5 minutes. It's the end of my first full day. Side effects, I'm totally fine. I've just got up to get ready for work and I just feel unbelievably nauseous. Maybe I do just go vomit up. And usually I would always have hot chips at half time, and honestly I haven't felt the desire at all, which is so weird. I've just woken up, felt overwhelming nausea and vomited. The morning stuck, and obviously I've never had a child, I've never been pregnant, but it's giving morning sickness. I'm walking around like a lost puppy. I have no inspiration because I can't even think about food, and all I've got on my trolley is toilet paper and tuna. So I'm at the Pie Awards tonight and Imogen is devastated. Why? There's no pie. There's no pie. It's not a problem for me. Wouldn't be having one anyway. Not hungry. Turns out I could fit in a pie. Okay, the update is actually I was all talk, and that's probably as much as this pie that I'm interested in. No disrespect to the Supreme Pie winner. What's quite weird now doing this week too is that I know what's coming, so I'm even less interested. Can confirm I'm still vomiting. One of the side effects that you're warned about is the loss of muscle. This gives you extra motivation, I guess, to get to the gym. Tomorrow is jab day, so I've definitely felt my hunger returning. I feel better about doing it this week. I think it's maybe because I'm starting to see some results. Yeah. Power to the needle. For those of you wondering what a birthday on Wegovy looks like, it looks like a cauliflower cake instead of a cheesecake. We've all been drinking all day. Everybody else has gone out to get burgers for dinner. I'm just not hungry at all. Obviously a change. I don't know, I've just had a bad day. I'm in a bad mood and I want some delicious food. A few regrets. It's almost 1 a.m. and I just cannot get to sleep. Actually. Oh my God. Week 6 and I'm still vomiting. I'm like 3 days into my higher dose and it's making such a huge difference. Overall, definitely feeling more energized, obviously eating better, obviously losing a bit of weight. Today I had my first experience with like a judgment around taking Wegovy. I'm starting to get a bit nervous about ever coming off this drug, which is weird how quickly I've become attached to it. But here we go.
Oh, that was awesome. Now, time for the big reveal.
You're going to take your clothes off?
No, I won't be taking my clothes off.
How much weight have you lost?
As of this morning, in just under 7 weeks, 11 kgs.
Wow. Whoa, that is incredible.
Yeah. It is unbelievably effective. It is a super, super powerful drug. I guess the problem with me and the risk now is I can come off it and very quickly pile that weight back on. And the thing with Wegovy is it targets your muscle, so you're losing a lot of muscle, and then when you put that weight back on, it's typically going to be fat gain. So you're potentially doing more harm than good if you don't make good decisions and really establish some better healthy eating habits.
Now it is time to go behind the issue. Okay, remember, we have got a massive obesity problem in this country. The 3rd highest rate of obesity in the OECD, with 1 in 3 adults and 1 in 8 kids considered obese. And being that overweight can lead to major health issues like diabetes, heart and liver disease, and much, much more. And the government says it is costing the country as much as $9 billion a year. Now, remember that figure, $9 billion. Now, Wegovy isn't taxpayer funded right now, and that is why it is so expensive. And Pharmac, our drug buying agency, need the drug company Novo Nordisk to make a formal application before it can even consider funding it. Now, for a 1/3 of those obese adults we've been talking about, the ones most at risk of serious health complications, that is 500,000 Kiwis, by the way, at $6,000 a year per person. It'd cost us $3 billion annually. Now, that is a lot of money, but it is a lot less than that $9 billion that obesity is currently costing us. Now, this is obviously Paddy maths, but it shows us that the cost-benefit analysis does stack up. Now, the weight loss drug game is only just beginning. There are new, more advanced versions coming down the pipeline all the time. And you may not know it, but here in NZ, we are at the forefront of it all because as a nation, we are considered one of the best places to test new medications. So, what can we expect in the future? Well, I met one Kiwi participant who has tested the next big weight loss drug that isn't even on the market yet.
You know, it's really hard looking at yourself and thinking, I don't want to look like that. But what can I do?
Neil Wilkinson has struggled with his weight for 2 decades.
20 years of not being able to look at yourself in the mirror? Or...
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a long time, eh?
A really long time, Neil.
He tried all kinds of diets, none of them worked.
So I thought, you know, there's a weight loss trial. Maybe this can help me.
His wife, Cara, was not convinced.
My first initial reaction was like, no. No, why do you need to inject yourself or put a drug into your system to lose weight?
But Neil signed up. He was one of around 500 people on the trial worldwide.
You're out in the future, trialling something is not even here yet. Did it feel exciting, or what was the vibe?
It felt really exciting.
One of the issues with the current drugs is that patients can lose muscle mass. This trial combined two medications, a weight loss drug and a second to preserve muscle mass.
They provided a lot of support. I knew it was a wonder drug, but I didn't expect what would come from it.
3 months in, Neil's weight started to drop dramatically.
All up, I dropped 30 kgs.
Incredible. 119 kgs down to 89.
Yeah,
30 kgs gone.
yeah.
But the drug came with side effects.
Headaches, being lethargic, not wanting to do anything, nausea, acne.
He was short-tempered. The responsibility fell on me to do a lot more around the house because he didn't have the energy. And just the whole losing your husband, losing your partner.
You felt that happened, that you lost him?
The person he was, yeah. He was always such a happy person.
I don't see that.
And you couldn't even tell that was happening?
No.
I was checking my weight daily. If I didn't lose weight, I would basically stop eating so that would force my weight to drop. I was looking back at previous photos and I could actually see how gaunt I was looking.
So you became obsessed by weight loss?
Yeah.
Obsessed is the word, yeah. The weight loss became an addiction.
Christmas Day was a nightmare because I had all the food I wanted, but I was just picking. I was picking like a sparrow. The only enjoyment that I could actually see was looking at myself in the mirror and seeing how much weight I'd lost. But outside of that, there was no enjoyment.
It's really sad, Neil.
If I didn't have the understanding I have on mental health and lifestyles in general, we wouldn't be together. I would have walked away, but I was there to support my husband through something. Because it wasn't his fault, what was happening.
When the trial ended, Neil's weight shot up.
4 or 5 months after I'd stopped the medication, then the weight started to pack on. It packed on very fast, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. I hadn't changed my eating habits. Within 6 months, I was back at my starting weight.
So within 6 months, you were back to 119 kg?
Yeah.
You got heavier after coming off weight loss drugs?
Yeah.
You were gutted?
I was gutted, yeah. And I think this is where people need to be aware of how these wonder injections actually work. You know, once you start it, you got to stay on it. There is no magic bullet as such.
3, 2, 1. Time on. 30 minutes of work. Don't forget to take breaks. Don't forget to drink your water, all right?
This gym is full of grit.
Excellent.
It's full of hurt and heart and hard work.
10 of those, and on to the next one.
It's full of mana. It's full of determination. It's dripping in sweat.
Nice, guys.
It's full of beasts. They call themselves the Obese Crew, and not one of them can afford Wegovy.
Nice.
If money wasn't a factor, Tere Moana would be first in line for the weight loss drug.
How much has weight weighed on your mind over the years?
A lot. Because when you wake up in the morning, oh my gosh, it's 30. That kind of thing. But also you feel it in your body and the way you move. You know, when you're walking past shop mirrors and you see your figure,
Can you tell us how many kilograms you're hoping to lose?
Let me see. Goal weight is 75.
Wow.
Talking about over 40. Over 40?
You're on a mission.
Yeah.
You guys get to 10, you guys go back down to 8, 6.
Renata couldn't afford to wait for weight loss medication to be funded. So she shows up here and sweats day after day.
30 minutes of this, all right?
I was actually 2 numbers off pre-diabetic, high cholesterol. The pains I had in my body, I couldn't actually get up off the bed. I wasn't motivated. Financially, I couldn't get to work.
Tash has forked out for cheaper medication in the past.
I was always the bigger kid, but my heaviest, I was almost 200 kilos, and that was too much for me.
She wasn't on it for long and her weight rebounded as soon as she stopped using it.
Where we are now, we can't afford all these fancy things that someone else that has a big pay packet can do. And if it is going to help, then it needs to be funded, because why not? Why not give everybody else the equal opportunity?
New Zealand's obesity rates are significantly higher among Māori and Pacifica.
Is it getting worse?
We're finding more and more children, young people with obesity and diabetes, diseases that were originally seen just in adults. So yes, it is getting worse.
The cause is complex. Stress, poor sleep, genetics, hormones, medical conditions, finances, advertising, all pile on the weight gain.
I don't think people intentionally go out of their way to be obese,
Is Wegovy a wonder drug?
It is for those who can afford it. It's really designed for those who, have the money. So it really is just perpetuating that inequity in society. So
It does nothing for those who need it the most.
does nothing for those people who need it the most.
That's pretty grim, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Listen to when you fall and stop eating.
Dr. Ollie Schmiedel is one of New Zealand's top weight loss doctors.
And we had recent blood tests which look actually really good.
He says obesity needs to be treated as what it is, a brain disease.
We still blame people for their weight. That we think that is basically laziness and gluttony, that people are responsible for their own obesity. But we should know better, we do know better, that actually it is a condition that is genetically determined, that people who are born heavier will always be heavier.
He believes drugs like Wegovy could ease the burden on the health system.
I would probably say around 30% of people who are in hospital have something related to their weight. Doing something, especially for the very heavy people, would save quite a bit of money for the health system.
Rewind 50 years and it was smoking choking New Zealand's hospitals. Ollie thinks the obesity epidemic calls for a smoke-free style movement.
We have an unhealthy advertising and fast food culture that has permeated very much through the society.
Ollie's patient Vanessa has grappled with obesity since she was a child. After bariatric surgery, she struggled to keep the weight off, so turned to Saxenda, a diabetes medication used for weight loss.
I think I was paying around $600 a month for Saxenda at the time.
How do you afford that?
And I couldn't, so it was a real sacrifice for me and my family. And I remember at one point being really embarrassed to be spending money on that.
But with the food noise gone, she was able to reset before it escalated, now living her healthiest, happiest life.
What would 16-year-old Vanessa think if you told her that Wegovy was available?
Sorry. 16-year-old Vanessa would have just been really relieved.
I think what's really important with this is that absolutely nobody is saying that this is a one-stop magic shop They're saying that Wegovy is a really powerful tool in the toolbox when we're fighting obesity. And when it comes to who might get it funded, the resounding feeling is to start with those who are most critical first. For example, funding it for people who are too heavy to get bariatric surgery.
Yeah, something that really stood out for me was the doctor saying 30% of hospital admissions might be linked to obesity. That's the kind of thing that we could really bring down, but we would need it to be funded so that people could get it. So I got a hold of Novo Nordisk, who make Wegovy, and I wanted to know when and if they are going to apply to Pharmac to have their drug publicly funded in New Zealand.
But I can't give you the timelines, but what I can tell you is that the company and we are in discussions with Pharmac. When that will happen, I unfortunately wouldn't have the date, but hopefully this year, towards the end of the year, we will aim to have something.
Okay, well, that's a bit of news there. Basically, they are going to apply. It's going to be towards the end of this year, and they're talking to Pharmac right now. So time to talk to the Minister responsible for Pharmac, the Associate Health Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, David Seymour. Thank you for joining us today. New Zealand has an obesity problem that's a huge cost to our health system. Should drugs like Wegovy be publicly funded, in your view?
Well, what gets publicly funded is decided arm's length by Pharmac. If politicians decided these things, everything would be a popularity contest. But if you just ask me, finger in the wind, basic principles. We need more technology to keep up with demand in medicine. The numbers don't work otherwise because there's more people getting old requiring health care. There's not enough people to look after them. Got to have more technology. This, on the face of it, seems like a good example of that. You just need to make sure that the professionals down the other end of Wellington at Pharmac have checked out the numbers.
Deputy Prime Minister, Novo Nordisk, the company that owns Wegovy, has just told us it is in talks with Pharmac right now, and it will place an application for that drug to be funded by the end of this year. What would you say to that?
See, I'm not even sure I knew that, but that sounds awesome. I keep it arm's length, but I'm pleased to hear it if that's what you're telling me, because, you know, in the last few years, there's been a few medical companies that have actually pulled out of New Zealand. They've decided that maybe New Zealand's not a good bet for them anymore, and that makes me really sad. One thing I didn't know when I came into this job is that we don't go out and ask them to sell to us. The companies actually have to come to Pharmac and ask to be funded. So we can't make them do that, but when they do, that's great news, because it means if the numbers stack up and we can afford to fund it, that's another option for New Zealanders.
So it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it is awesome that New Zealanders may have the opportunity to have another publicly funded drug that may turn out to save the taxpayer money, which is sort of the two things I like.
Yeah, so the potential public funding through Pharmac of weight loss drugs is awesome in your view, or could be awesome?
It could be awesome depending on what the highly independent Pharmac say about the numbers, and I always respect their independence.
Yeah, but your personal opinion as the Minister responsible for Pharmac, personally, is that it would be awesome if they were funded?
Oh, I personally think it's awesome, but I don't expect anyone to take any account of that. I want them to do the numbers the right way.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Deputy Prime Minister David Seymour.
No worries, Paddy. Pleasure.
That's sounding pretty promising then, isn't it? The application's going in by the end of the year, and a minister who probably shouldn't have an opinion thinks it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.